All right, let's do it. Here we go, Dan. You ready?
Ready.
Ready, Jeff? Did you get a taco?
Yeah, it was good.
All right.
Taco.
Yeah, I got a taco.
Got to be at the right place at the right time.
And it was perfect timing, man.
The tunnel underneath the jail wasn't the right place at the right time?
No.
I had to go get some invoices that were sitting in my box, and that was the perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so you can just start with your A and any changes that you have there based on what we already have. And then, yep. And then we'll go through anything on your B budget. Go ahead, say your name for the people that are watching, and then we'll go from there.
So Dan Kendall, project manager.
Jeff Underwood, maintenance director.
So we've had some significant changes to our personnel recently, so I'm apologizing that I want to make some adjustments. I included the current chart, how it's set up, and then I included a chart what I would like to see happen. And if you want my proposed pay grades, if that helps you. Starting at the bottom, custodian at a 4, the tech's at an 8, the assistant has a 12, and the manager at a 15. Okay.
How was that fun?
It was joyful. My 90-pound Labradoodle got his eye cut at the groomer, and they have to go put stitches in him, so I might have to go hold the dog down.
All right. We're on, so Dan's just getting started.
Okay.
Okay, so that kind of covers the A budget. If we want to head into the B budget. So there's several changes. I included in that packet the significant changes. Some of them are new line items and you might want to move under their own department, but we can go through it. And so there's on 461, there's a general building repair line item where we're going to be taking on more buildings. I propose an increase in that line item.
So where you've added costs for buildings, do you know if departments have reduced their
I don't know
maintenance?
that. And I'm sure there's some of that going on. I heard on the museum where they're asking for like lighting and that kind of thing. There is going to be some.
Okay, she did mention that she wasn't sure if it was in your budget.
Yeah.
So if, let us know on that one.
Yep.
And then what about, probably the only real big one would be the jail will keep their
Right.
maintenance, but you should have everyone else.
Okay.
Is
So
that- is that correct?
yes.
Okay, what about event center? Would
no.
they keep?
No.
No, I didn't put any event center costs on here.
So,
I would like to, so on the next sheet, there's a list of buildings that I would like to see that we take care of. On the one row, I've put a check mark on all the buildings we need to do maintenance on, and on the other one, janitorial. So we're increasing from 8 buildings to 31 buildings. Some of them aren't huge, but
Some of them, we don't know if we classify them as a building, but we
Sure.
will.
Some of them are just more of a
Barn.
shed.
yeah.
Pole barn.
Yeah.
so when
Or
you
a-
say juvenile detention, are you talking the probation side?
Both. Yep.
Okay, we need to keep the costs for the detention center
Separate. Yep.
in the detention center, so
Yep.
did you do that?
No. I just
So-
lumped them together.
Now, on the detention side, I know that comes out of the region.
Right, so it
So-
needs to be funded on, so the detention side needs to fund their part.
Right. So I visited with Seth. He's increased his number, which means that we can up our number,
You mean decrease your number?
actually increase, because if he's covering say half,
Oh,
then we need to match that.
only if the costs are gonna be the same.
And
I mean, if you think there's gonna be $1,000 in maintenance, but he budgeted $1,000, in theory, there's only 500 each.
so on our evaluation report, we have $250,000 in repairs to do, so whatever he came up with,
You want that,
I want to go, yeah.
okay?
So this budget isn't gonna make every building, it's not gonna catch up every building, but it's gonna be a big step. You know, a lot better than what we've been able to do. Another one that was kind of a question mark was the museum, which we've never had one, line item for them. And so.
They have a special levy, they need to pay their own.
Okay, so they're, you know, $100 and some odd $1,000 behind on their maintenance. I just wanted you guys to see it, you guys decide what you think's most important, if it needs moved under another department. But I want you guys to be aware of what we're attempting to do.
I think you put it in the museum line, but you'd have to put it in the, but mark it for maintenance, because it's their own levy,
Yeah.
correct? And you just
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
whatever that is there.
Yeah, so this will probably be something that we'll look at, and then we'll have to meet separate
Yeah.
before we do clerk's recommendation.
Yep.
Especially since there's about a $380,000 increase.
Yeah. So another one that would be new is ag extension, whether it needs to be under them or us.
That would be you.
They've got some issues there. The building repair line item for the courthouse was kind of only used for carpet cleaning, and then the general building repairs, that was used for the courthouse, but I'm gonna separate that. And then the other big ask was on contract services. A custodial contractor. Property acquisition, I included commercial lawn care equipment. I think that would pay for itself in about a year if we mowed the jail and our lawns and did away with the contracts.
Do you have on the contract services, do you have a breakout of what's traditional versus, can I just take the difference?
Yep,
Okay.
just the
Because I
difference.
think we would probably want to track that separate.
Okay. So it still includes on the A budget some custodians, so we would still clean the far out buildings, you know, like mosquito and landfill and kind of the ones that are kind of away from the courthouse, and the contractor would do these buildings around here. And then I put $1,000 in for like a county shirts for the staff. On a few of those line items, I actually lowered them. I don't feel like we should be dumping money into buildings that probably should be replaced. Rather than, I think I heard a request for, you know, lighting at the annex. That could be $100 grand just for lighting in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's I mean, that's your decision, but I probably
I
wouldn't do that.
just revamp the whole side of the assessors. Was just revamped here about a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
We also upgraded all the lighting where the probation officers are. We all put them have all been upgraded to LEDs in that section of the building, so.
I think what she wants over there is a ductwork put in to even out the HVAC system, and then probably like a ceiling grid to put more of an indirect lighting.
The problem is the amount of cost to do that. What you're talking about doing is you're talking a major remodel of that building.
Yeah.
You're talking about everybody coming out of the building for 6 months and going in there and gutting and remodeling the building.
So actually, I lowered their line item because I just don't feel like it's worth putting money
No,
into.
it's, unless we decide in the future that you want to put the investment into that building,
Yeah.
that building's coming to the end of life.
It really is.
Oh, it is.
And so the decision is not whether you're gonna put lighting in, the decision is gonna be, are you gonna tear it down?
Right.
Right.
Back to some of your building repair.
Okay.
Some of this equipment that you're gonna replace, do you have the breakdown of what some of those items are gonna be? They might be tracking items, they might be capital items, as opposed to just replacement.
Sure.
Um,
On general building repairs, I feel like, I don't know what the term to use, but just if something comes up, which it will, it could be used on any building, right?
Okay,
Um,
so we'll
On-
just earmark the money, and then when it comes time to make the payment or the purchase, you'll let me know, and we can let you know if it's gonna be capital or not.
Absolutely.
Will that work?
Yep.
Okay, we could do that.
On the museum, I listed, this isn't all that they need, but the restrooms, there's actually had a, floor is heaved up, and there's a kind of a mountain you have to climb to, the floors are raised up an inch. So to get into the ADA stall in the restroom, you actually have to roll over a hill to get to the stall door.
In which?
Museum.
Museum.
The
restroom.
floor's heaved.
So it's
Oh,
going
yeah.
up all the way across the building. So I put on their restrooms.
Reinforced.
When the roof goes in, we have to do some lighting upgrades. It's already dark, it's gonna be really dark. Some ADA improvements, their exit lighting doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, that stuff needs to be fixed.
Yeah. And the floor's gotta be fixed, so.
I think on the walks, that ADA ramp that was put in probably 15, 18 years ago, still does not really meet ADA requirements with handrails, and I know it falls within the perimeter, but I'm not sure if we're close enough without a landing on it.
Yeah, so there's no landings and there's no handrail, so basically it almost needs torn out if you wanted to make that compliant at this time.
Yeah. And then there's another one in there that was not compliant from the day one I got there. I said, this has got to go away. So they left it sitting there, but it's not compliant at all. Couldn't even get a wheelchair up it.
Too narrow, 2 inches too narrow, and plus it doesn't have the landings either, but that's kind of what we're up against on that one.
Yeah.
The building repairs at the ag extension, they have a sewer line problem where they're not letting the public use the restrooms because constant issues with the line plugging up.
Yeah.
So there's that on there.
Is that because the
lighting-
line's failing or because it needs to be rooted out?
It's kind of they used to have a septic tank back there, and we remodeled that building. It's new from the septic tank to the main line, but from the septic tank to the bathroom is the old original line, and it plugs up super easy, and I don't know why. So Roto-Rooter's been up there 3 times, so they just, put a sign on there saying
Okay.
no more restrooms for the public. They have to walk across the parking lot and use the fairgrounds,
Okay.
which that one freezes up.
Which
is-
that technically doesn't meet ADA compliancy when you don't have a
Yeah.
bathroom in the building. So
Right.
we need to probably have that fixed.
So moving into that one also, the ADA improvements, they put a ADA parking spot in there and then they lock the door.
Yeah. that's-
So there's stuff like that. The lighting in that building is still the original lighting that probably should be upgraded to the LEDs and their exterior repairs. So that's kind of that number. That's how I came up with that number. The courthouse building line item, we still have quite a few cooling units that are on the R22. And they're about $9,000 a piece. And then I think to be a little bit proactive, I put on here to have the HVAC system engineered. If we're ever gonna separate the jail from the courthouse, we've gotta do something to get that separated. They run on the same boiler.
Heating system, same electrical system,
Yeah, so.
same natural gas systems.
Yeah.
So that number includes that engineering. I put ADA improvements. We've got a ways to go. If we did a little chunk every year and show, good faith that we're gonna do something every year. I think it means a lot to the public, and then some original electrical equipment that we should probably start replacing. So that's where I came up with that number for the courthouse. Juvenile detention is got a lot of things we should be doing. I put on there to upgrade the lock system for the probation side, so it ties in with the lock system here, so they can run it from here over there. Plumbing is a constant issue over there.
And that's more on the detention side that we have the biggest issue with the plumbing over there, so.
The windows, all the seals are broke, you can't see through the windows. Flooring on the probation side's coming up, the metal roof panels and soffits are the original, they're rusting out. And then the HVAC unit on probation is due to be replaced. So that's where I came up with that number.
That's a rooftop unit that when they added onto that building in about 95, after they built the original building in 93. That's the only unit that's left over there that has not been upgraded, is that rooftop unit for where they added on where the probation, where the juvenile probation officers are at.
Can you pull out for me, let me know how much of that's juvenile detention?
Yes.
I need to know. Just let me know what that is.
And then on any line item that says increase from special projects, we zeroed out special projects and I just moved those funds over, so the increase is just those funds moving over. And I think that's what I changed.
So are we going to continue to have the electrician's truck pulled out of this line item, out of this department?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. I think to keep it simple, if we keep the electrician in this department, he can be used anywhere.
Okay.
Supervision can still be where it's at, but if Scott happens to run out of tasks for him, if he's in here, then it's easier to
Okay.
have him work elsewhere without having to move money to cover his wages.
So
Because you did leave him in here, right?
I left his phone, his wage, and his truck in there.
Perfect. And we can add if we need to. I mean, he's only got 3 lines, but if we needed to, we could add a function for him so that, kind of like the projects, so that you can see what he costs versus the others. But where it's only 3 lines,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's,
Yeah, I think it's fine the way it is.
is that okay, Commission?
Yeah.
Anything else I can clarify for you?
Nope, I'm good.
The natural gas, you increased the natural gas, didn't you?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get.
Yeah.
We got
When we
some.
put our budget together to start with, at that time, I did not have an estimate from Intermountain Gas at their increase, but they're seeking a 25% increase in natural gas for the next year. Auto Power is increasing their, asked for a 9.2% increase in electricity. This year, the budget in electricity is going to be low, but natural gas is way over.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm good.
good.
Yep.
Anything else, Christie?
We'll probably be in touch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure we'll be in touch.
We have a
For
work
sure.
session tomorrow too to talk, if you wanna come talk about budget stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?